Whack back to Dusty Bricks and another episode of Building Jabba's Palace. So big thank you to everybody that commented last week on the towers. And yeah, we decided we're just going to have the one of these stumpy towers here. So the one over the back there, we're going to get that one removed. This tower here, we're going to be changing the design of it. So at the moment, each of those uprights are too wide. When I very first started doing this, the first template was a 4 wide for each panel at the bottom. So we're going to go back to that. But before I do so, I just want to make sure that I can make it smaller going up. So I might have to go over to 3 wide there. So we'll experiment with the hinges first of all. But anyway, let's get that tower over to the table and see what we can do with it. And here we have the start of the tall tower. And as you can see, we've used a lot of different filler bricks here. This is all we could find at the Lego store. We were actually in Southampton last week, so we picked a couple of cups up while we were over there. They had a different selection than what we have here in Dublin. So as you can see, it's all nice and solid in the middle there, and it's not looking as curved as the previous attempt of this tall tower, but this one is just so flimsy with them being just too wide. It's very difficult to get sort of like the hinge pieces in because of the support structure behind here, whereas this one's a lot more sturdy. I could probably pick it up from here, whereas if I try to do that one, it would just collapse. But what we're going to do, we're going to build up to about this height here, and then we're going to go over to 3 wide on these pillars and see how that goes. I'm going to keep this one assembled as long as possible until I start needing to steal bricks off of it, and then that way, if I don't like the look of this one, I can quite easily just switch back to that one. But anyway, let's carry on building this up, and we'll check back in once we've made a bit of progress. This was going to be the second ring on the tall tower, and each one of the bits were 3 wide with the exception of that one at the bottom there, which is only 2 wide. The reason that was 2 wide is so that it fitted perfectly inside this section here. However, what I have discovered is if I go 4 wide, then 3, 4, then 3, all the way around, it fits in there really snugly. So I'm hoping that there's no pressure being put and it's pushing it apart. So I've decided I am going to be sticking with this tower regardless of whether this is a winner or not, or whether we've got to go back to that one, because I just think it looks a lot tidier than having all of these lines going all the way up there. So I'm going to dismantle this in a moment to steal the filler brick and a lot of these nougat bricks here, and we're going to carry on building this up. And once we've got up to the next section up there, we'll check back in and show you how it's looking. And here is the revised tall tower, or the start of it, and I'm much happier with this design here now. Due to it going into the 3s, it then eventually gets to 3 wide across all parts along the top there, which is really good. It's so much stronger, and I think it looks a lot tighter rather than having numerous lines. As I mentioned earlier, although the other one did sort of like give more of a curved look to it, I think this overall is a lot tidier looking. But yeah, there's the 3 buildings and how much we've been able to get done with the bricks that we have available to us at the moment. So just waiting for a whole host of the dark tan bricks to come in, and a few bits for here as well. So what we're going to turn our attention to now is doing the landscaping around these towers and on the mills plates themselves, so they all sort of like look nicely and tidy within that section. So yeah, let's get the tan bits out and get started. And there we have a little bit of the landscaping done, and that's stopping these 2 towers from moving that way and falling off over the edge of the cliff if I knock them. So with all of these just slide out because they're on tiles. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some jumper plates on here and then build a rock section which can stick it, so like clip into place, and then that's going to stop it from moving. But if I need to get the tower out, it's easy enough to do so. So I'll just pull that bit off, slide out, and then I can move it around. So when I need to do work on the towers, that's no problem. And the same there. But we've still got a lot of the landscaping to do all the way along here. I've run out of these slopes here, so we're going to be using other parts now. But I have got a load more of the tan slopes, so we will be doing some more mountain, and I think about doing some down this end, possibly sort of like making a little barrier here, so I can do some more like storytelling down this end of it. But yeah, really pleased with how that's coming on now. So it's the more and more of this I do, the happier I am with the look of the top of the mock. Obviously, when it's just looking like this, it's way too plain. So next up, we're going to be tackling the throne room. So I want to get the floor all tiled and also get the arches all fixed, because we've now finally got the 1x1 cylinders. They'll enable us to do those properly. So yeah, let's get in that throne room. So we've had a fair few parts come in for finishing this off. So like we've got the light tan cylinders that go in the arches. We can replace all of those. Got a lot of tiles for the floor. Some inverted slopes for the pillars that are going to be going up by the booths here. So we're going to get all that done, as well as adding another row of plate around this archway here, ready to tile onto it. And we've got a few different tiles in as well. So again, that's going to enable us to experiment with the tiling side of things and get that looking as good as we possibly can. So let's get all those parts over here and let's see what we can get made. And here are the booths, or the start of them. So we've got the pillars down and we've got the arches in between the pillars. However, I'm not really happy with them. As you can see, these ones and the one on the end there, they're all attached to the studs. So they're going straight up, which isn't the right look. It needs to be more like this one. Now, this one's not actually attached. It's sort of like the two bricks on the side are keeping it all in place. So I'm going to see if there's a way that I can attach it using the hinge piece. So it will be, I'm sure it's going to be classed as an illegal build technique because the studs on the bottom are not going to be connected fully. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a play and see what we can come up with. And we might also change the width of each of those pillars to 2 studs and have a little bit more on the sides. But yeah, let's have a bit of an experimentation and see what we can come up with. And the booths are ready for the arches to be put on. So as you can see, we've got several things like headlight bricks in there, or snot bricks, which have then got plates and tiles on. We've got brackets on there and all things like that, the cheese slopes, all on top of the inverted slopes. So the next thing to do is just attach the arches to that. And what we've got are sort of like the arches all attached together, cheese slopes on the top to give it to finish the edge off basically. And then we've got some modified plates to attach it to. So all we need to do now is just clip this all into place. And then that should, in theory, all work. So the studs at the bottom are just resting on there, but we've now got the same smooth angle all the way across there. So we've got the actual slope, and now we can plate off the top of that so you won't see any of the ugliness inside. Now the only thing is, if you look down from here, there is a few gaps sort of like just up there, but you've really got to get down to see it. And also I think it just adds to a little bit more of the texture, because obviously we've got all of the little holes that we put in the walls everywhere as well. So yeah, really pleased with how that's come out. So let's get that placed off at the top, then we can build the wall back up along the top here and here, tile it back off as it was before, put the plates back across and all that lot. Then we can make a start on those arches. And there we have the booth area all finished. So really pleased with the fact we managed to get those arches at the same angle as the slopes below, and only a very slight gap where the cheese slopes sort of like go to the plate above it. So yeah, really pleased with it. Anyway, now we'll get over to the arches and finish sorting all those out. And we've tiled off around the arch around Jabba's palace, and really happy with how that's all looking. So we can now we know that it's going to work, that style, we can order in the parts to go around these last 3 arches here, so we know exactly how many of each we need to do. We've got plenty of the square tiles there, so we can get those all on, and then it's just the half circles and the 2x1 with the rounded ends that we need to get in. So yeah, happy with that. What we can also do now is tile the floor in Jabba's palace. So we're going to start off by putting 1x1 studs at random places all across the floor. It's going to give it a bit of a break up on the texture of the floor, but also enable us to put minifigures on there at a later stage. And if there's any like mini builds that we need to put on there, or any furniture, things like that, again, we'll be able to do that. So let's do that bit next. And we finished the palace floor down this end. So we've gone for a mixture of ingots, the dark tan studs, and some of the nougat colour tiles as well. And again, the same all the way down here. The steps are all done. And then in this side, the majority of this time, we've still got a few holes here. And I'm going to be putting some more dark tan in there once I found them out. At the back here, this is where the booths are going to be in the tables and chairs for the people to sit on. I've got to do that section. Once I've done the table and chairs, we'll then put the rest of the tiles down on there. But it's coming on nicely. So just need ordering the other tiles to go around the arches. And I think that'll make it look so much better and more completed. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the update. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And please share with your family and friends. Anyway, thanks for walking by. See you next time. Bye for now.